Society tells you the loudest person in the room is the most confident, but psychology tells a much darker story. While everyone else is busy talking, trying to prove how important they are, the smartest person is doing something far more dangerous. They're watching because silence isn't empty. Silence collects information. Every word people speak, every reaction they show, every mistake they make becomes a clue. In this video, you'll discover 5 hidden psychological reasons why truly intelligent people choose silence as their greatest weapon. And the final reason changes the way you'll see quiet people forever. Here's something most people never realize. The more someone talks, the more they accidentally reveal about themselves without even knowing it. Every joke, every complaint, every unnecessary opinion quietly exposes their fears, their insecurities, and even their hidden intentions. That's why smart people don't rush to impress anyone. They'd rather understand how people think before making their first move. And once you understand how much people reveal, simply by speaking, you'll stop trying to be the loudest person in every room, because the real advantage belongs to the one who's quietly paying attention. Every argument costs you something. Not money, not time, energy. The kind of energy your brain can never fully recover. That's why highly intelligent people don't argue with everyone. Not because they can't win, because they've learned some battles are designed to waste your attention. Watch successful people closely. They rarely waste hours explaining themselves, because every minute spent proving you're right is one less minute spent building your future. The strongest move isn't always winning the argument. Sometimes it's refusing to play the game at all. And that's only one reason silence makes people far more powerful than they appear. Have you noticed how some people become uncomfortable when you're quiet? It's not because you said something wrong. It's because they can't figure you out. Your brain tries to predict everyone around you. Who's safe? Who's dangerous? Who's easy to influence? But when someone stays silent, your brain has nothing to predict. That's why people often underestimate the power of silence. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop giving people the information they need to control you. The less people know about your next move, the more attention they pay to you. And the real secret isn't staying silent. It's knowing exactly when silence becomes your greatest advantage. Here's something most people never notice. Words can lie, but the human body almost never does. A smile can hide fear. Confidence can hide insecurity, while everyone else listens to the conversation. Quiet people watch the pauses, the eyes, the hands, the tiny reactions most people completely miss. Your brain processes thousands of tiny signals every single second, but most people ignore them. Highly intelligent people train themselves to notice what everyone else overlooks, and that's why silence isn't passive, it's active observation. The less you speak, the more your mind has space to notice the truth hidden in plain sight. But what happens when people realize you're impossible to fool? That's where silence becomes something even more powerful. Have you ever noticed how uncomfortable silence feels during a conversation? Most people rush to fill that silence, and that's exactly when they lose control. Your brain hates uncertainty. When nobody responds, it starts asking questions. Did I say something wrong? What are they thinking? And before they realize it, they begin revealing more than they ever planned. That's the hidden paradox. The person who speaks less often controls more, not because they're louder, but because everyone else is reacting to them without realizing it. Silence does something strange. It makes people think about you, even when you're saying nothing. And once you understand why the human brain obsesses over mystery, you'll never feel pressured to explain yourself again. The human brain has a strange obsession. It doesn't chase what it already understands. It chases what remains a mystery. That's why quiet people stay in your mind long after they've left the room. Think about it. Who do people remember more? The person who explained everything, or the one who quietly walked away, leaving everyone wondering what they were thinking? Psychologists call this the need for closure. Your brain craves answers. When it can't find them, it keeps searching again and again. That's why mystery is more powerful than constant explanation. Silence doesn't force people to forget you. It often does the exact opposite, because the mind always remembers the questions it never answered. And that's when silence stops being a habit and becomes influence. Wait, not every silence is a sign of intelligence. Sometimes silence has nothing to do with wisdom. Sometimes it's fear, wearing a disguise. Ask yourself, why are you staying quiet? Because you're observing, or because you're afraid people might reject you if you speak? Those are two completely different realities. Intelligent silence is a decision. Fearful silence is a prison. One gives you control, the other slowly takes it away. Knowing the difference changes everything. The smartest people don't stay silent because they're scared. They stay silent because they know not every moment deserves their voice. And that's the difference most people never understand. Think about the people you truly respect. They don't interrupt. They don't fight to be heard. But when they finally speak, the entire room falls silent. Why? Because your brain values what's rare. When someone talks all the time, their words blend into the background. But when someone speaks only when it matters, every sentence feels important. Intelligence isn't measured by how much you say, it's measured by how much impact your words leave behind. One thoughtful sentence can change a mind. 1,000 empty words usually change nothing. The goal isn't to stay silent forever. The goal is to make sure that when you finally speak, people don't just hear you, they remember you. And there's one final reason why truly intelligent people never need to prove themselves. Have you ever wondered why some people need to prove they're right in every conversation? It's usually not confidence. It's fear, the fear of not feeling enough. People who constantly need validation become prisoners of other people's opinions. Every compliment feels like a reward. Every criticism feels like an attack. Smart people don't stay silent because they have nothing to prove. They stay silent because their identity doesn't depend on winning every argument. Real confidence stays calm even when nobody applauds. The moment you stop chasing everyone's approval, something changes. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop explaining every decision. And that's the moment silence stops protecting your image and starts protecting your peace. Words disappear in seconds, but their impact can stay with someone for years. That's why intelligent people never waste them. Most people speak first and think later. Smart people think first, because once words leave your mouth, you can never take them back. One careless sentence can destroy trust. One honest sentence can rebuild it. Smart people understand that words don't just describe reality. Sometimes they create it. Silence gives you something most people never have. Time. Time to think. Time to understand. Time to choose words that matter. And that's exactly why silence often speaks louder than noise. Here's the irony. The quietest person is often judged the fastest. People confuse silence with weakness, when in reality, those are two completely different things. Some people need attention to feel powerful. Others already know who they are, and that's why they don't feel the need to announce it. Never assume someone is weak just because they're quiet. Sometimes the calmest person in the room has already seen 5 moves ahead, while everyone else is celebrating too early. The strongest minds don't waste energy trying to change everyone's opinion. They understand that being misunderstood is a small price to pay for protecting their peace. And the final truth is even deeper, because silence isn't the real power. It's what silence creates inside you. Everyone thinks silence is about ignoring the world, but the hardest silence has nothing to do with other people. It begins inside your own mind. Every day, your mind keeps talking, overthinking, doubting, predicting problems that haven't even happened. And without noticing, you become a prisoner of your own thoughts. Real intelligence isn't winning every argument, it's learning when not to argue with your own mind, because the moment you stop reacting to every thought, you finally become free. And that's the secret. The smartest people don't just silence the world around them, they silence the chaos within, because once your own mind stops controlling you, nothing else can. Here's the habit that separates emotion from intelligence. Average people react immediately. Intelligent people pause first. Someone insults them, they don't explode. Someone doubts them, they don't panic, because they understand there's a difference between reacting and responding. That tiny pause lasts only seconds, but it changes everything, because when emotion stops making your decisions, your mind finally can. That's where real self-control begins. The world will always be loud. People will always have opinions, but the strongest person isn't the one who wins every argument. It's the one who refuses to let every argument control their mind. And now, you probably think this video was about silence, but it wasn't. Silence was only the symptom. The real story was always about self-control. Anyone can stay quiet for a few minutes, but very few people can stay calm when they're misunderstood, when they're criticized, or when their ego wants to fight back. The smartest people don't win because they speak less. They win because fewer things can control them. Not praise, not criticism, not fear, not ego. And maybe that's the real definition of intelligence. Not having all the answers, but becoming the kind of person who no longer needs to prove anything. So, here's the real question. Are you actually silent because you've mastered your mind, or because your fears have mastered you? Because the loudest prison was never the world around you. It was always the voice inside your own head. And the day you learn to quiet that voice, everything changes. If you want to understand the hidden psychology behind human behavior and escape the traps your own mind creates, subscribe to Human Paradox, because sometimes the darkest truth is the one hiding inside you.